And the benefits of depository system. There are benefits are available to the depository system, will be realized by the investors, realized by the companies. There are the different benefits to the different stakeholders. So what are the benefits? The first one, the benefits to the investors. It is eliminate the paperwork, no physical movement of securities. It is only the digital form of certificates are given, which is going to reduce the work, which is going to reduce the paperwork to the investors. Online they can give the request, online they can convert, online they can buy, online they can sell the securities. So everything that happens in the digital platform. And the risk of bad delivery, fraudulent activities, and misplacing of securities, certificate, and multilatered and loss of securities, certificate will not exist. The major benefit to the investor. So investor may realize that bad deliveries, it means instead of transferring that certificate to one person, they might have transferred to other person with a similar name. The kind of problem may be realized by the investor, so they have a kind of risk in the physical form of certificate. There might be the thing happen that might be stolen by the other people. The kind of fraudulent activities are also take place in that particular thing. And like the misplaced, some more time we may misplace that particular certificate, physical form of certificate, security certificate. We need to search the kind of the time and the energy will be waste for the investor for this particular thing. Mutilated, it is like due to the years which pass on, if you are not properly stored that particular certificate, it become not even it is usable, not even it can be readable by the investor. So they can't be able to trace out the certificate number and other thing. Even they are going to get the other certificate or recertification process they are going for, they are not even getting the information. So the kind of problems are there with the physical form of certificate, which are being the kind of risk are eliminated with the dematerialization of certificate. In shorten the kind of settlement time, as well as for which saves the cost and increase the velocity. Also the benefit to the investors, which is not taking the longer period. It is like only realized, immediate realization of benefits are also happens in the market. And possible change the portfolio with the more frequency, they can buy and sell the securities, but it has not happened previously. If you have a physical copy of certificate, you need to sell it as like as property, how you are buying and selling in that the recent days. Similar to this, you need to buy and sell, it took the longer period of time. It is a long process, no one interested to do this. So but what happens if it is in the digital form? Everyone is interested to buy, everyone is interested to sell it, everyone is making of the alternatives, making more investment into the market because of the digitalization, which is also lesser cost. The stamp duty is not applicable. Why? Because the kind of instruments being in the digital mode, the digital certificate, which there are a nominal cost you need to pay for buying and selling of that. And the faster payment is also ensured if you given a sales request to that the depository participant is initiated that particular process, and the amount remittance will be happen with that the nominal time pennies. Next one, the benefits of depositories to the companies. So you all know the benefits of depositories to the investors, what the benefit that they have realized. Next to this, we have the benefits of depositories to the companies. So what are the benefits being realized by the issuing company? So in this, issuing company came to know that the investors, who are the beneficial owners, and what would be their holding pattern of investment into their company, is being able to understand by the company. It means the issuer. or else if there is no depository, they can retrieve the information from the register and transfer agents. Through the physical records, they can be verified, they can get the information. But it is a kind of digital environment where every information related to the investors can be easily retrievable from the system of depository. Through the depository or through the depository participant, we can easy to get the information. So the company can get the information all about their investor through the depositories. So that can be possible to the companies, and further delay or the kind of other problems are to be reduced by the depositories. So there are a number of benefits are realized by the companies with respect to the depositories. So the benefits are, the companies will be able to know the particulars of beneficial owners and their holdings in the company. So how many number of investors are there? What would be the percentage of investment to the capital in the respective company came to know by the company for making effective decision in their business organization. So this will be a benefit to the companies. Company can retrieve the information easily from the depositories. So the depository system itself, they can easy to track the information, how the benefits or the ownership has transferred from one person to another person. Easy to came out the kind of things through the depositories. The second one, no rush for transfer at the time of dividend or the bonus issue of securities. Normally that the kind of things are happen if it is a physical certificate. The transfer of ownership which was effected, which was like a physical copy of agreement owned by the person, to be submitted to the register and transfer agent for further claiming about the ownership from the particular company. Sometimes it may be delayed, but they rush towards getting the dividend, rush towards getting the bonus issue of shares. At the time they are rushing the company to urge the company to effect the transfer of ownership. But this may not be happen in this kind of environment. Why? Because the kind of digital environment makes the depository to make transfer easily without any delay. So the kind of things are automatically happens in this environment. So without any delay, the kind of the transfer of certificates are effected, the ownership title are easily transferred, the settlements are quickly happens in that the environment. And the third important aspect, lesser number of investors that they are complaining about the signature differences, time lapse during the transfer and mutilated certificates. It may be happen the kind of delay due to the physical copy of certificates, but the majority of the investors has transferred their certificates into a demat form. So almost 99.9% of the investors in the Indian capital market, almost they have transferred, almost they have converted their physical certificate into a digital certificates. So the kind of problems are reduced. Still there are a kind of problems are there. Very few problems are there in the market which is related to the mutilated of the certificate, bad condition of the certificate. It is happened due to the physical copy of certificate, not in the digital certificate. There may be the few cases related to the digital certificates, the kind of signature mismatch and other thing, that also easy to rectify the kind of issues which was happened in the market. And the possible to send the notices and annual reports without any delay. It means the company can easily communicate to the investors in the digital environment. Where that the previous one, they need to send all the things through the post or through the courier, they need to deliver the information to the investors. Even they need to participate in the annual general meeting or dissemination of information related to the bonus issue of shares, dissemination of information related to the dividend announcements or the profit generated by the company or their future plans or the prospects of the company. everything that they are going to going to provide the information during the annual general meeting, the kind of related informations are sent to the investors, which makes sometimes a delay might be happens in the market. But the kind of delay may not be happen in this. Through the depositories, they are going to make the trade with the investors. So they can easy to deliver the information, easily the investors get the information. So everything which becomes easy, they are through their demat account itself, they can receive some information, they can easy to review the information, they can quickly react according to the information of the corporate. So it is easily possible, the kind of delay ought to be reduced in the depositories. So the next one, the benefits of depositories to the capital market. So what are the benefits are going to be realized by the capital market with the help of depositories? So all the things, all the systems in the capital market are regulated, or it is highly efficient with the help of depositories. Almost all the systems, all the process in the capital market are automated with the help of depositories. So the things are related, the benefits are related to the capital market, or it is ensuring for more transparency in trading, clearing and settlement due to the highly automated interlinked systems, which is ensured for the 100% automated trade without the interruption. Without, it is like the no more the manual transaction, no more the manual influence which might happens in the capital market, which is purely automated trading are enabled. So that the trading system which is ensured by the depositories to the capital market. For example, you can take in NSE. NSE is following a NEAT system. It means National Automated Electronic Trading. It means the kind of transactions which are automatically traded in the stock exchanges. Best buying price and best selling price, the contract are executed in the market, followed by the kind of trading, followed by the trading, the settlements and clearing are happened quickly in the market. Following a trading cycle, it is like T+2 cycle is what followed widely in the market after the depositories into the picture. So in NSE you can take, they are following a system for trading is called it as NEAT, is a National Electronic Automated Trading. With that the system, it is automatically make arrangement which is automatically going to convert the best buying price and best selling price in the market. The contract is automatically executed. And the settlement, clearing and settlements are also happens quickly. The automated things are happened with the involvement of depositories. Like in BSE also, they have the limited order trading plot system, what they have been followed in the trading process. So everything is automated, digitalized with the environment of depositories into the picture. So with that, the first one, the benefits to the capital market is more transparency in trading, clearing and settlement due to the highly automated interlinked trading system, which was enabling first one in the trading, and in the clearing it is the transfer of ownership from one account to the another account, or one person to the another person. Either it is a partial transfer or full transfer. Everything will be taken care by the depositories. The depositories are also aligned with the clearing corporations, clearing houses for this particular process. So the depositories are also interlinked with the clearing corporations. The clearing corporations are interlinked with the stock exchanges for this particular process. For making automated trading, all those things are interconnected in the environment. The second one, the efficient back office due to the highly automated process. It is automated, the delivery instructions, delivery slips automated. It was sent to the investor's account. investors' mail, everything through the SMS, the kind of notification, automatic trading and recording of information, everything was happened in the back office. It is an efficient process which was happened with the help of depositories, and the investors' confidence is improved in the market because of the transparency. There is no speculative motive was happens in the market without the assumption, without the kind of things that the investor may have a better confidence about the market conditions, so that they also wants to make investment into the market for the future benefits. And attracting the foreign investments, the foreign investors are also attracted with the efficiency of the Indian capital market, which was ensured by the depositories in the market, which ensured for buying and selling of securities, automatic trading, automatic clearing and settlement was happens in the market, which insists the people from outside of the country is also interested to make investment into Indian capital market due to the kind of transparency in terms of trading, clearing and settlement process what followed in the Indian capital market. And increase in volume of both in numbers and the values. It means the number of stock traded in the market is also increasing significantly. The volume trade is also increasing significantly in the market, not only into the equity sector, it is also into the wholesale debt market, and also including the derivatives. The kind of the demand was increased with that the kind of transparency into the picture, and the attracting the more number of retail and the small investors, either they directly make investment into the market, or indirectly they are going to make investments through the mutual funds. So it is the way provided by the depositories not only to direct investments into the capital market, whereas it is also providing the opportunity to the investors to make investment indirectly into the capital market by the way of making investment to the mutual funds. So the mutual fund is a vehicle for collecting the investment from the investors, and that investment is invested into the various investment avenue. So they are indirectly making investment into the capital market. So the benefits are going to be realized by the unit holders of the mutual fund, which we classified as a indirect benefit holders, which they are not directly participating, they are not directly buying the equity shares or the debentures from the market, they are indirectly participating through their asset management company. So the direct participation or indirect participation are also getting confidence, more confidence about the market, more confidence about the market conditions, what it is prevailing. So the kind of things are to be favorable, kind of things are the more benefit to the capital market. And the next important topic is the drawbacks of depository systems. So there are a number of advantages which was gained by the depositories, but there are few disadvantages are also associated with this. So the disadvantages are, the first one, multiple depositories, which makes the higher cost to the investors, higher cost to the issuing companies also. So the kind of cost which is involving with this are also high. So what may happen that there are the different stock exchanges, the investors are trading securities in those stock exchanges. With that, they have the kind of the multiple depositories. There are the National Securities Depository Limited, Central Depository Service India Limited. With that, they have make the transactions frequently, which make sometimes the higher cost to the investors in terms of getting service from the multiple depositories. And the Clearing and Settlement Corporation are also, it is a separate entity, it is not associated with the depositories. So you can take the clearing corporations in India, there are about 7 clearing corporations are there. So with that, the depositories need to have a lens for better delivery of the securities to the investors without any delay, due to this automated interlinked system which ensures for that. So that what is the problem? There are different entities, their rules, regulations that might be changed over the period of time. Accordingly, there might be the problem might be created in the depositories. The clearing corporations, you take as a part of a depository, have the interface with the various stock exchanges is missing. It means the clearing corporation that ensure for where this particular securities are brought for the companies. Either that may be purchased from through the link or through the stock exchange of Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange or some other stock exchanges. It has been brought, but it has been sold through which stock exchange the investor has approached to sell this or to buy this security. So the kind of problem may create the clearing and settlement process might be delayed due to the kind of things. So if I am an investor, I would like to sell my share in the market. I have purchased those securities through National Stock Exchange. At the time I am going to sell this through the Bombay Stock Exchange, the investor approached me to buy the particular share. So if I am going to sell this, the clearing corporation needs to identify which stock exchange where the clearing process is going to be happen, where it is going to be remitted, the transfer as well as the transfer of ownership as well as the transfer of the collection of investment to the beneficial owner's account. So the things are here missing in this depository system. Initially the people have not shown the interest, but after there are a kind of changes may happen, due to that they might show the interest for depositories and the lack of awareness among the people. So still they don't have much confidence about the depository system and what happens in the Indian capital market. So the kind of things we need to address, need to provide the information to the investors. So what is the role of depository in the capital market? Then only they might aware and they might interest to make investment into the capital market. As well they know the charges levied by the depositories, because they don't know why I need to pay this charge. Either the charge is for the depository participant or the depository we are paying through the depository participant. They are not aware of that kind of things. And what else the service is being provided, what about the efficiency of depository are not at all aware by the investors. So this kind of things are to be given more priority for increasing the awareness about the depositories and build the values in the minds of the investors, and this is going to make or this is going to create a kind of confidence among the investors. And the fear of being caught into the tax net, the kind of problem might be created if the kind of the income or the investment going to get the more generation of revenue, there might be the problem there into the tax net. So the kind of problem here need to be understand, need to be get it into this particular one. And the initial compulsion was not there. There is no, it is purely an optional for getting the service. And initially the problem is related to the dual rates. It means the rates which are applicable for trading into the different depositories. With the help of different depositories, the different rating. And like the charges what it was collected by the depositories through the depository participants, it is also varying according to the different the depository participants. It is varying. It is like if I am going to buy the shares from the particular depository participant, I need to pay the different charges. One depository participant may charge for 0.5%, another depository may charge for 0.1%, 0.3%. There might be the kind of discrepancy what it is prevailing in the market. It is for the intraday, there are separate rates which are applicable. It is for the square of, it means for the delivery, it may be the different rates which are applicable. Either intraday or square of, it is separate rate. Like the delivery, it is delivery mode, it is separate rates which are applicable for this. So the kind of things needs to be addressed by the investors before going to make investments into this. So these are the kind of the drawbacks with respect to the depository systems. And next one is about the profile of depositories. Start with the profile of NSDL, National Securities Depository Limited. NSDL was the largest depository in the world, and NSDL was started in the year 1996. And it handled the most of the securities held and settled in dematerialized form in the Indian capital market. Till date, that they are providing a kind of service start from 1996, and the paper-based settlement of trade caused a substantial problem like a bad delivery or delay in transfer of title. Mutilated securities may happen in the market. It is like the kind of bad delivery, instead of one particular beneficial owner, it was remitted or it was accounted for another owner for that the particular transfer, but they are not the real owner of that particular security. The kind of problem may happen if it is in the physical form. There may be a kind of delay in transfer of title to one beneficial owner to the another beneficial owner. The kind of problem may happen in that the physical form of transferring the security, and the kind of mutilated, the problem may happen even would not be able to trace the certificate number, ISIN number, and the amount of securities owned by the particular person from the particular company. The kind of things we can't able to trace out the details of the particular person who have been registered beneficiary with the company. So these kind of problems are to be eliminated from the system with the introduction of depository. Especially the National Securities Depository Limited has started as a first depository in India, and it has enriched more than the amount what converted into the physical form of securities into the digital form of securities. Accounted the more than 80% it was owned by National Securities Depository Limited. And to the enact of the Depository Act in the year 1996, which was paved a way for the establishment of National Securities Depository Limited. So the new entity has started with respect to the base, with respect to the Act of Depository Act, which was passed in the year 1996. And NSDL, which aims at ensuring for the safety, soundness of Indian marketplaces by developing a settlement solution that increase the efficiency, minimize the risk and reduce the cost which associated with the transferring, with the clearing and settlement. The kind of the cost which are reduced, increase the efficiency in terms of immediate solution, in terms of immediate transfer of title, which was effected with the help of depositories into the picture. And like it is going to reduce the risk in terms, it is ensuring that the kind of bad deliveries may not be happen in the marketplace. Whoever the registered beneficial owner of that particular security, it is promptly, it is going to be remitted, it is going to be credited into their account. Demat credit and demat debit was happened properly into the marketplace, which was ensured by the NSDL. And transfer of ownership of securities done through the simple account transfers. It is not a tedious process. It is not the number of paperwork which was happened previously for the transfer of security from one person or one investor to the other investors. But it was immediately transferred with the help of the account. It's like a similar to the account transfer. How the amount is going to be transferred from one bank account to another bank account. Similar way that the securities, the certificate of securities, it is in the digital form which was held in the demat account, easily to transfer from one account to another account. And the government of India is promulgated the Depositories Ordinance in the year 1995 during the month September. Based on this ordinance, the Securities Exchange Board of India notified its depositories and participants regulation in that May 1996. So in that May 1996, Securities Exchange Board of India come up with the regulation for regulating the depositories and related participants. It means the depository participants and the other third-party people who associated for the efficient delivery of securities, transfer of securities. So those things are regulated under the Securities Exchange Board of India during this year. With the enactment of the Depositories Act, which also paved a kind of the benefit to the depositories with the help of SEBI Depositories and Participants Regulation during the year 1996. And there are benefits offered by NSDL to the depository participants, to the investors. What are the benefits being offered by the NSDL, which was classified into the different category. The first one is elimination of the bad delivery. So the bad delivery, instead of one account holder that the security ought to be remitted, instead of that it is going to remitted into the other beneficiary with the similar name or similar initial or similar there is the slight changes in the account number. It was transferred to the other person. Instead of 105, it is going to be transferred to 106. Instead of the Arun K, it was going to transfer to Arun S. Like a kind of problems might be happen in that by the depositories, which may not be happen with the NSDL, National Securities Depository Limited. It is in that the depository environment, once the holding of investors are dematerialized, the question of bad delivery doesn't arise. It means they can't be held under the objection. It was not at all happen in that the environment. And the second one, elimination of all risk associated with the physical certificate. What are the risks we have faced already? The kind of problem may not be there in the e-certificate or the digital certificate which was held in the demat account. The dealing in physical securities have the associated with the security risk of theft of stocks, mutilation of certificate, loss of certificates may be happen. These are the things are associated with the physical copy of certificates. Sometimes it may be theft by a people, maybe changing of name or the material alteration in that the particular certificate, they become the owner of that particular the securities might be happen. The kind of the mutilation of the certificate due to the age or the old of that particular security certificate, it becomes mutilated due to the condition where we have stored. And the kind of loss of certificate, if it is in that the physical form, sometimes we may, due to the carelessness or some other things, it may be lost. We can't able to trace its origin, the certificate with that company or the issuer. It becomes a tedious process. But if it is in that the digital form, it can be easily to retrieve the information about that particular stock, particular information. Even from your registered mobile number, you can be get track of information. Even from your customer ID, even with that the login credentials, you can be get the information about this. It can be easily possible. You can easily to change the ownership. Everything it becomes easy in that the particular environment, which also being ensured by the NSDL. And immediate transfer and the registration of securities which was happened with the help of NSDL in the marketplace. In the depository environment, once the securities are credited to the investor's account on payout, they becomes a legal owner of the security, which was immediately happen. It was, if I'm going to sell the security, it was happened the demat debit in my account, and who purchased the securities from me is going to be credited, what we call it as demat credit. Next one is a faster settlement cycle. It means the settlement cycle on the rolling settlement It is a continuous settlement which was effected automatically after completion of each trade in the market. It is after the 2 working days the settlement was ensured by the NSDL. It means that they are following a system called T+2. It means the settlement of trade will be on the 2 working days from the trading day. When it was effected, when it was transferred, with that next 2 working days the settlement was happened. Likewise, the settlement cycle was effected by the NSDL, and we call it as a rolling settlement, which was happen automatically in the market. And faster disbursement of non-cash corporate benefits like right issue of shares, bonus securities, and other things are related to that. We call it as it's a non-cash disbursement which happens in the market, which is also ensured that the NSDL is providing a kind of a service, direct credit of non-cash related entitlements to the investor's account, which was done properly by the NSDL. For example of right issues, is that the existing shareholders of the particular company may have a rights to subscribe the new portion of capital available in the particular company. Can be purchased with the existing shareholding pattern. They can be, whoever having the 2 shares can be able to buy the additional 1 share from the company. The kind of rights are to be provided to the existing shareholders. So with that exercising of those rights, and the transfer or demat credit is also properly done by the NSDL with this right issue. One thing. Second one is like a bonus shares, issuance of bonus shares or the bonus issues given by the company issuer to their shareholders. So this is also properly monitored, and the transfer is also done by the NSDL. So instead of giving cash dividend, the company may decided to give the bonus shares to the existing shareholders. So it will be provided or it will be credited to the investor's account properly. For example, instead of whoever having 5 shares of the particular issuer can have the additional 1 share, can be provided the additional 1 share. So if a particular investor may have the 100 shares with a particular company, entitled to receive the 20 additional shares, so which is going to be credited by the NSDL to the account of the investor, demat account of the investor. So this is ensured. And like you take example of the stock split, if the company may go for the stock split, like for example of LIC Housing Finance Limited, you can take, they made the changes on its face value of the shares was divided into the various portion. It was reduced from 10 rupees to 2 rupees in the marketplace. It means whoever having 1 shares existingly can receive the 5 shares, the new shares to be received. So this particular process is also done by the depositories, those account which was happened, which was going to be replaced with the existing account. The new remittance or the new credit of the securities into the account was ensured by the NSDL. And reduction in brokerage by the many of the brokers for trading in dematerialized securities, physical form of securities which was costed higher. Compared to that, the depositories who are asking the charge which was relatively low in the marketplace. The investors are going to pay the lesser amount for the transaction. Previously, what happens in that the paper-based transaction, or when it was like a physical certificates are there in the market, there are large investors are only enter into the market. Large investors can trade in the market. It is not provided the opportunity for the retail investors or the small investors can buy the securities from the market. It is not happens in the market because of the kind of cost which involved with respect to the transfer of securities, and other formalities are also high in the marketplace. So what happened with this, the depositories are ensuring for proper trading and settlement, and the clearing was happened quickly and efficiently. So with that, the reduced charges, reduced brokerage. With that, the effect, even the small investors, the retail investors can participate, can buy the securities from the market. Even they can buy the one share from the market. It is possible now. Because it was not possible in the previous day, they can buy a lot of securities in the lots they can buy, then only they might be get benefited out of that. Otherwise, the huge number of costs they need to pay for buying of securities or selling of securities in the marketplace. But the entrant of the depository, we need to pay the lesser charge compared to the previous one. So the kind of benefits are also being realized by the investors in the market. And the reduction in handling of a huge volume of papers. It means there is no stamp duty is available required for the conversion. The kind of the paperwork are eliminated, a huge volume of paper are reduced that the marketplace is also the benefits of NSDL. And the periodic status report to the investors and their holdings and transactions and leading to the better control, which provide the better control to the investors in their demat account. What are the securities are bought and how many securities are sold, what would be the holding, current holding. The kind of information can be retrieved by the investor easily while viewing their periodic status report. It was sent by the depositories to the investors. So the investor may get aware about the kind of the holdings, kind of their transactions, what would be the levied charges from his account. All those things are to be understood by the investors. Elimination of the problems are related to the change of address of investors, because it was a problem with that the previous thing. We need to get the information, we need to provide the information. Physically the kind of things are get delayed for change of address. But with that, the effect of depository, it was immediately done. Immediately the address change was effected. The investor have to only inform their depository participant with all relevant document, and to the required changes are effected in a database of all the companies where the investor registered holders of the different securities. Because the investor may not, if they have not holding any kind of securities is not being an issue, simply they can inform their depository participant. It means a trading member, maybe a broker, who can be help that particular investor for come out with the kind of things easily to make the changes with the mere receiving of the document related to the changes of address. But if they have purchased the different securities, holding of different securities with respect to the different companies, it might become a problem that all the records of the companies, that the things are to be changed, the address are to be changed, because the companies are sending the periodic information related to the profit, related to the annual general meeting, related to the decision taken by the particular company is going to be communicated to the investors. So it is the kind of things easily the information have been recorded, the information has been changed with respect to the different companies by the depository participants. So it was happened quickly in the marketplace by the NSDL, and the elimination of problems related to the transmission of demat shares. In case of dematerialized holdings, the process of transmission is more convenient, as the transmission formalities of all securities held in a demat account can be completed by submitting a document to the depository participants. The transmission are also happen due to that the particular investor may be a insolvent, maybe a kind of problem to that the particular investor, the death maybe happened that particular investor. With that, their legal representative may claim that security, claim that particular asset which was held in the demat form. So with that, in prior to this, it is what difficult for making a claim with the help of physical copy of certificate. They need to provide the higher certificate. They need to come up with the kind of legal opinion. Everything will be consolidated. After that, the kind of effects was changed. In the physical form, it was getting delayed. The kind of charges what you have been paid in huge volume, you need to pay the amount. But it was immediately happened with the reduced process. Thereby you can submit the certificate like a higher certificate, and the legal representative who may be the legal representative, if they have a will, with that they have clearly mentioned. So the kind of documents needs to be submitted to the depository participant for the transmission of demat account. And the elimination of problem related to the selling of securities on behalf of the minor. A natural guardian is not required to take a court approval for selling of securities on behalf of the minor. It is like artificial guardians if it is being appointed by the court of law for the particular person. Hence, they only get the approval for making transaction of securities. But if it is not required, if it is like a natural guardian, need not to get the court approval for making or selling of securities on behalf of the minor. It is not required in this particular case. And ease of portfolio monitoring. So they have given you the account, though the account, demat account, you can be viewed from your laptop, from your mobile phone itself. You can easy to monitor the portfolio of your securities, what you have been bought from the market. Not only respect to that the particular instrument, it is like equity shares or the debentures what you have bought. It's like a mutual fund unit, so how many units you can bought, how much IPO you have applied, all those information, the kind of portfolio, you can be easy to monitor the information from your demat account itself. And the freezing facility is also provided by the NSDL. It is a freezing facility is a depository account holder, is a beneficiary account, may freeze their securities lying in the account for as long as the account holder wants it. By freezing the account holders can prevent the unexpected debit or credit or both, which can be protected that particular account by giving the freezing facility. The freezing facility which gives the option to the investor wants to hold that particular account for a period of time. It is that they have restricted towards the debiting of account. It means demat debit was restricted. It means the kind of selling order with respect to the particular demat account has not been executed under any circumstances. If it is like the demat credit is freezed, it means that the investor gives the order, do not buy any securities. Any securities was not allowed to credit into their account, which was not allowed. And both for a period of time they are restricting that the buying and selling of securities, which may not be with this particular account, may not be remitted, may not be debited from this particular account, which was restricted by giving both the option. Or else it is like you can give the demat debit only, or demat credit only, or demat debit as well as the credit only. Freezing of particular ISIN number with respect to the particular security or the particular company, you can restrict either the debit or credit or both. You can restrict with respect to the particular ISIN number. And the freezing of specific number of securities held in that particular ISIN number. It means with respect to the particular company, like you can take the ICICI Bank Limited. With that, the ICICI Bank Limited, if I have 500 shares, if I have bought equity shares that I have bought from that ICICI Limited, I have given instruction to the depository participant to freeze that particular ISIN number related to the ICICI Bank. No more further transaction may happen for that the particular account. One thing. Or else you may give that the permission, give that instruction to the depository participant. It is like they freeze up the 300 units. It means the 200 units may be debited, maybe the furthermore credit may happen in that the particular account with respect to the particular security. So likewise, the kind of freezing facility is available. The freezing facility is provide the option to the account holder as long as they wants to freeze that the securities from their account. That also possible with respect to this. The kind of facility is provided. And with respect to the investor grievances, because of the kind of service is not directly provided by the depository to the investor, through the depository participants, the kind of service are provided to the investors. So maybe a kind of problem or the kind of promise is not executed properly, the trading may not be happen properly, or the kind of charges are slightly higher what promised by the depository participant. So the kind of problem, improper credit, improper debit, the kind of problems what realized by the investor, may at first they are going to get the resolution, kind of a solution from that the particular depository participant. If they have not get the kind of solution properly from the depository participant, all grievances of the investors are to be resolved by the concerned business partner or that where they have account with respect to the trading member. Or if it is failed to do so, the investor can have the rights to approach the National Securities Depository Limited or Securities Exchange Board of India. They can appear, they can raise their clarification or file a petition against that particular company to that the entities. And the insurance coverage. National Securities Depository Limited has taken a comprehensive insurance policy to help the depository participant to indemnify the investors for the loss occurred due to the error, omission, the commission or negligence of depository participants. The kind of problem may happen. It is like if that particular investor may give that order and the executed price, if it is not properly done by the particular trading member, the kind of a problem, whatever the unexpected problems may happen in that the transaction, that the trading or the clearing or the settlement process, if it is not done properly, the kind of compensation are provided by the depository participants to the investors, which comes under the claim, comes under the comprehensive insurance policy which was taken by the depository. So the NSDL has already taken a kind of the insurance policy to cover all such risks are associated with the buying and selling of securities through the trading members with the help of depository participants. The next important the depository, the profile we are going to see here about the Central Depository Service India Limited, CSDL, so CDSL. The Central Depository Service India Limited, which was formed in the year 1999 to fulfill one of the major goals to provide the convenience to all its stakeholders, to the investors, to the issuer, to the capital market, to other third-party agents, provide the convenience to the people, dependable and secure depository service being offered with the help of CSDL. With that, the CDSL is a market infrastructure institution and is a crucial part of the capital market structure, providing a service to all market participants. The market participants are like stock exchanges, clearing corporations, depository participants, issuers, as well for the kind of service is being provided to the investors. So as like what the service is being provided by the National Securities Depository Limited, similar to this, Central Depository Service India Limited are providing a kind of a comprehensive service to its investors. So all those services are similar here also. The kind of bad deliveries are eradicated with the help of depository. The kind of problem which are associated with the grievances and all other such kind of things are to be reduced. The efficiency of trading is improved in that the Central Depository Service India Limited. With that, the kind of account opening and other formalities, what it is required to the NSDL, similar to that the CSDL is also requiring the kind of same. There are a kind of the service is being provided by the CDSL or account opening. It is like the opening of demat account, dematerialized account, which is facilitated by the Central Depository Service India Limited to their investors through the depository participant. They are doing this particular process. One thing. The second one, dematerialization. It is the process converting the physical certificates into the digital form of certificates. So that particular process is also done by the Central Depository Service India Limited, as like as the National Securities Depository Limited. They are doing the same kind of a service for dematerialization. Whatever the process is applicable for the NSDL, the similar process is applicable for the CDSL. The Central Depository Service India Limited are also following a same kind of procedure. Whatever the physical copy of certificate is held by the investor needs to submit along with the request for dematerializing of those physical certificate into a digital certificate. The kind of copy or the original certificates they need to surrender with the depository participant. So the depository participant is verifying all those credentials in that the particular physical form, verifying that and verifying the request given by the particular investor for the conversion. So this process is done by the depository participant and the same is uploaded to the depository for approval. So the depository is forwarding the same to the registrar and transfer agent with respect to the particular issuing company. So once the approval is sanctioned by the registrar and transfer agent, they will be forwarding the approval to the depository participant for further conversion of the digital certificates. So the same kind of process is what followed by the CDSL also. And processing, delivery and receipt of instruction are given. So once the delivery process is completed, whenever the kind of the trading completed by the investor, the delivery instruction slip is given. So normally the investor is giving the delivery instruction slip which was available with him to be handed over to the particular stockbroker, which was verified. After that it was confirmed, the kind of receipt or given by the depository participants to the investors. The same thing is what followed. And the account statement, the periodical account statement, whatever the holding is held, the kind of a transaction is held in the account of the investor are to be communicated by the depository to the investors. So that particular process is also done by the CDSL with the same, so that the investor can able to know what are the kind of transactions may happen, how many number of shares are bought from this particular account with respect to the particular ISIN number, how many number of shares are bought and the shares are sold in that the particular account, and what would be the remaining things, the current holding pattern of the investment, current holding of the portfolio which was available in the particular account can be able to know with respect to the periodic account statement given by the depositories to the investors. And the rematerialization process is also done by the CSDL. It means the conversion of digital certificates into the physical certificate. So the RRF is given by the investors to the depository participant. It means a remat request form. Duly filled that particular form and duly signed on that the particular form. Along with that, the current holding. What would be the current holding, the ISIN number of that particular securities, how many number of securities are there in that the particular account, how many number of shares they want to make conversion of the digital certificate into a physical certificate. The kind of request are received by the depository participant and the same is communicated to the depositories. with that the particular company is given the instruction to print, which was delivered by the registrar of that the particular company to the address given by the investor. So the rematerialization process is also done, and the pledging, if that the particular investor wants to get loan against the security which was available in that the demat account, it is also possible by holding the securities. The loans are also provided with respect to the current market value, based on that the proportion, based on the volatile movement of the market during that particular period of time. After adjusting all the things, the kind of loans are also sanctioned against the pledging of securities which was held in that the particular demat account. And the nomination facility is also provided by the CSDL. It means similar to the NSDL, the CDSL is also providing the same, the kind of facility, the nomination facility is available. Even though it is not the compulsion, it is optional one, you can give the nomination facility. In case of transmission happens, the transmission of securities are happen in that the particular account, easy to transfer without getting much delayed on that the particular process. If you have given the proper nomination with respect to that particular account, the transmissions are happen quickly due to the unexpected event. So the nomination facility is also insisted in that the CDSL to their investors. The transmission of securities was happened due to the insolvency or the lunatic happens to that the particular investor, or maybe the death, the natural death of the particular person, or the somewhat the other problems related to that the particular investor. To their legal hirers are entitled to receive the benefit out of that particular instrument. The kind of transmission process is also done by the CDSL. The change of address, similar to NSDL, the CSDL is also doing the same. The change of address is immediately intimated to the depository participant. Once the depository participant receives the request from the investor, they are requesting for the proof to change the address. So the same is communicated to all the companies for making changes in the records, whatever the securities are under the holding of particular investor is done properly, and the bank account details are updated for the remittance, for the credit and debit happens to the particular bank account directly. If you have given a request for selling the securities, the amount was received by the depositories was credited into your bank account, and you have given an order to execute by the securities, so it was debited from your account. With respect to this, the demat credit was happened in your account. So parallelly it was linked together. And the SMS, the kind of facility is provided by the CDSL. SMS facilities are provided. Whatever the buying or whatever the selling happens with respect to your account, to those intimations are to be sent properly to your account, as well as through the mail communication, through the SMS, through which the depositories are communicating with respect to the charges, with respect to the intimation about the buying order or intimation about the selling order. The kind of the confirmation are to be received from the end of investors. So the kind of things, the various facilities are also provided by the CDSL to the investors. So these are the things are related to the depositories. So as a whole, what we have seen in that the part of depository. The depository is an institution where they are providing the facility to the investors to convert the physical form of certificate into a digital form of certificate. It's a process, we call it as a dematerialization. And if the investor wants to convert their digital certificate into the physical form of certificate, that also done by the depository, we call it as rematerialization. And you can take the depository institutions in India. There are about 2 major depositories are there in India. They are National Securities Depository Limited, Central Depository Service India Limited. And there are about the clearing corporation. The clearing and settlement process is also done in parallel with the depository services. So the depositories are having an alliance with that the clearing corporations. You can take in India, there are about 7 clearing corporations are there in India. We can take NSDL and CSDL. The NSDL was the major or the largest depository in the world compared to the CDSL. So the NSDL was promoted by National Stock Exchange, whereas the CDSL, Central Depository Service India Limited, was promoted by the Bombay Stock Exchange. With respect to that, the kind of service in parallel to the NSDL, the CDSL are also providing a similar kind of service. Recent days, the kind of growth which was notable with respect to the Central Depository Service India Limited. Thank you.